eating bit candy, but this is chewing gum. I had to get out. Let's read this. I need this chewing gum in the garbage. Like this. This is very hot. It's very hot in my apartment. It's like 30 degrees every day. And tomorrow it will be even more hot. It's not supposed to be because it's September. Saturday is September and autumn. It's not supposed to be very hot. Like 30 degrees.
Computer keyboard. Not to be confused with keyboard computer. For other uses, see keyboard. A computer keyboard is a peripheral input device modeled after the typewriter keyboard, which uses an arrangement of buttons for keys to act as mechanical levers or electronic switches. Replacing early punched cards and paper tape technology, interaction via teleprinter-style keyboards have been the main input method for computers since the 1970s, supplemented by the computer mouse since the 1980s. Keyboard keys, buttons. typically have a set of characters engraved or printed on them, and each press of a key typically corresponds to a single written symbol. However, producing some symbols may require pressing and holding several keys simultaneously or in sequence. While most keys produce characters, letters, numbers or symbols, other keys, such as the escape key, can prompt the computer to execute system commands. In a modern computer, the interpretation of key presses is generally left to the software. The information sent to the computer, the scan code, tells it only which physical key, or keys, was pressed or released. In normal usage, the keyboard is used as a text entry interface for typing text, numbers, and symbols into application software such as a word processor, web browser or social media app. Touch screens use virtual keyboards. History. Typewriters are the definitive ancestor of all key-based text entry devices, but the computer keyboard as a device for electromechanical data entry and communication largely comes from the utility of two devices, teleprinters, or teletypes, and key punches. It was through such devices that modern computer keyboards inherited their layouts. As early as the 1870s, teleprinter-like devices were used to simultaneously type and transmit stock market text data from the keyboard across telegraph lines to stock ticker machines to be immediately copied and displayed onto ticker tape. The teleprinter, in its more contemporary form, was developed from 1907 to 1910 by American mechanical engineer Charles Crum and his son Howard, with early contributions by electrical engineer Frank Peale. Earlier models were developed separately by individuals such as Royal Earl House and Frederick G. Creed. Earlier, Herman Hollerith developed the first key punch devices, which soon evolved to include keys for text and number entry akin to normal typewriters by the 1930s. The keyboard on the teleprinter played a strong role in point-to-point and point-to-multipoint communication for most of the 20th century, while the keyboard on the key punch device played a strong role in data entry and storage for just as long. The development of some of the earliest computers incorporated electric typewriter keyboards. The development of the ENIAC computer incorporated a key punch device as both the input and paper-based output device, and the BENAC computer made use of an electromechanically controlled typewriter for both data entry onto magnetic tape, instead of paper, and data output. The keyboard remained the primary, most integrated computer peripheral well into the era of personal computing until the introduction of the mouse as a consumer device in 1984. By this time, text-only user interfaces with sparse graphics gave way to comparatively graphics-rich icons on screen. However, keyboards remain central to human-computer interaction to the present, though mobile personal computing devices such as smartphones and tablets use a virtual keyboard. Types and standards. Further information, keyboard layout. Different types of keyboards are available and each is designed with a focus on specific features that suit particular needs. Today, most full-size keyboards use one of three different mechanical layouts, usually referred to as simply ISO, ISO/IEC 9995-2, ANSI, ANSI INSITS 154-1988, and JIS, JISX 6002-1980, referring roughly to the organizations issuing the relevant worldwide, United States, and Japanese standards, respectively. In fact, the mechanical layouts referred such as ISO and ANSI comply to the primary recommendations in the named standards, while each of these standards in fact also allows the other way. ANSI standard alphanumeric keyboards have keys that are on 3/4 inch centers, 0.75 inches, 19 millimeters, and have a key travel of at least 0.15 inches, 3.8 millimeters. Modern keyboard models contain a set number of total keys according to their given standard, described as 101, 104, 105, etc. and sold as full-size keyboards. Modern keyboards matching US conventions typically have 104 keys, while the 105 key layout is the norm in the rest of the world. This number is not always followed, and individual keys or whole sections are commonly skipped for the sake of compactness or user preference. The most common choice is to not include the numpad, which can usually be fully replaced by the alphanumeric section. Such designs are referred to as 10-keyless, or TKL. Laptops and wireless peripherals often lack duplicate keys and one's seldom used. Function and arrow keys are nearly always present. Another factor determining the size of a keyboard is the size and spacing of the keys. The reduction is limited by the practical consideration that the keys must be large enough to be easily pressed by fingers. Alternatively, a tool is used for pressing small keys. Desktop or full-size. Desktop computer keyboards include alphabetic characters and numerals, and usually additionally a numeric keypad, typographical symbols and punctuation marks, one or more currency symbols and other special characters, diacritics and a variety of function keys. The repertoire of GLYPHS engraved on the keys of a keyboard accords with national conventions and language needs. Computer keyboards are similar to electric typewriter keyboards but contain additional keys, such as the Command key or Windows keys. Laptop size. Keyboards on laptops and notebook computers usually have a shorter travel distance for the keystroke, shorter over travel distance, and a reduced set of keys. They may not have a numeric keypad, and the function keys may be placed in locations that differ from their placement on a standard, full-sized keyboard. The switch mechanism for a laptop keyboard is more likely to be a scissor switch than a rubber dome. This is opposite the trend for full-size keyboards. Flexible keyboards. Flexible keyboards are a junction between normal type and laptop type keyboards, normal from the full arrangement of keys, and laptop from the short key distance. Additionally, the flexibility allows the user to fold forward/roll the keyboard for better storage and transfer. However, for typing the keyboard must be resting on a hard surface. The vast majority of flexible keyboards in the market are made from silicone. This material makes them water and dust proof. This is useful in hospitals, where keyboards are subjected to frequent washing, and other dirty or must-be clean environments. Handheld. Handheld ergonomic keyboards are designed to be held like a game controller, and can be used as such, instead of laid out flat on top of a table surface. Typically handheld keyboards hold all the alphanumeric keys and symbols that a standard keyboard would have, yet only be accessed by pressing two sets of keys at once, one acting as a function key similar to a shift key that would allow for capital letters on a standard keyboard. Handheld keyboards allow the user the ability to move around the room or to lean back on a chair while also being able to type in front or away from the computer. Some variations of handheld ergonomic keyboards also include a trackball mouse that allow mouse movement and typing included in one handheld device. Thumb-sized. Smaller external keyboards have been introduced for devices without a built-in keyboard, such as PDAs and smartphones. Small keyboards are also useful where there is a limited workspace. A thumb keyboard, thumbboard, is used in some personal digital assistants such as the Palmtreo and BlackBerry and some ultra-mobile PCs such as the Ocuo. Numeric keyboards contain only numbers, mathematical symbols for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, a decimal point, and several function keys. They are often used to facilitate data entry with smaller keyboards that do not have a numeric keypad, commonly those of laptop computers. These keys are collectively known as a numeric pad, numeric keys, or a numeric keypad, and it can consist of the following types of keys: arithmetic operators, numbers, arrow keys, navigation keys, numlock and enter key. Multifunctional. Multifunctional keyboards provide additional function beyond the standard keyboard. Many are programmable, configurable computer keyboards, and some control multiple PCs, workstations and other information sources, usually in multi-screen work environments. Users have additional key functions as well as the standard functions and can typically use a single keyboard and mouse to access multiple sources. Multifunctional keyboards may feature customized keypads, fully programmable function or soft keys for macros /presets, biometric or smart card readers, trackballs, etc. New generation multifunctional keyboards feature a touchscreen display to stream video, control audio-visual media and alarms, execute application inputs, configure individual desktop environments, etc. Multifunctional keyboards may also permit users to share access to PCs and other information sources. Multiple interfaces, serial, USB, audio, Ethernet, etc., are used to integrate external devices. Some multifunctional keyboards are also used to directly and intuitively control video walls. Common environments for multifunctional keyboards are complex, high-performance workplaces for financial traders and control room operators, emergency services, security, air traffic management, industry, utilities management, etc. Non-standard layout and special use types. One-handed keyboards. Many keyboards have been designed for one-handed operation. The first one, a chorded keyboard, was invented by Douglas Engelbart. Other types of one-handed keyboards include the frog pad, the half keyboard, and one-handed Dvorak keyboard layouts designed for one-hand typing. Chorded. Main article, chorded keyboard. While other keyboards generally associate one action with each key, chorded keyboards associate actions with combinations of key presses. Since there are many combinations available, chorded keyboards can effectively produce more actions on a board with fewer keys. Court reporters' stenotype machines use chorded keyboards to enable them to enter text much faster by typing a syllable with each stroke instead of one letter at a time. The fastest typists, as of 2007, use a stenograph, a kind of chorded keyboard used by most court reporters and closed caption reporters. Some chorded keyboards are also made for use in situations where fewer keys are preferable, such as on devices that can be used with only one hand, and on small mobile devices that don't have room for larger keyboards. Chorded keyboards are less desirable in many cases because it usually takes practice and memorization of the combinations to become proficient. Virtual keyboards, sometimes called on-screen keyboards, rarely software keyboards, consist of computer programs that display an image of a keyboard on the screen. Another input device such as a mouse or a touch screen can be used to operate each virtual key to enter text. Virtual keyboards have become very popular in touchscreen-enabled cell phones due to the additional cost and space requirements of other types of hardware keyboards. Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, and some varieties of Linux include on-screen keyboards that can be controlled with the mouse. In these, the mouse has to be maneuvered onto the on-screen letters given by the software. On the click of a letter, The software writes the respective letter in the respective spot. Projection. Projection keyboards project an image of keys, usually with a laser, onto a flat surface. The device then uses a camera or infrared sensor to watch where the user's fingers move, and will count a key as being pressed when it sees the user's finger touch the projected image. Projection keyboards can simulate a full-size keyboard from a very small projector. Because the keys are simply projected images, they cannot be felt when pressed. Users of projected keyboards often experience increased discomfort in their fingertips because of the lack of give when typing. A flat, non-reflective surface is also required for the keys to be projected. Most projection keyboards are made for use with PDAs and smartphones due to their small form factor. Optical keyboard technology. Further information, keyboard technology. Also known as photo-optical keyboard, light-responsive keyboard, photoelectric keyboard and optical key actuation detection technology. An optical keyboard technology utilizes LEDs and photosensors to optically detect actuated keys. Most commonly the emitters and sensors are located in the perimeter, mounted on a small PCB. The light is directed from side to side of the keyboard interior and it can only be blocked by the actuated keys. Most optical keyboards require at least two beams, most commonly vertical beam and horizontal beam, to determine the actuated key. Some optical keyboards use a special key structure that blocks the light in a certain pattern, allowing only one beam per row of keys, most commonly horizontal beam. Key types. Alphanumeric, alphabetical, numeric, and punctuation keys are used in the same fashion as a typewriter keyboard to enter their respective symbol into a word processing program, text editor, data spreadsheet, or other program. Many of these keys will produce different symbols when modifier keys or shift keys are pressed. The alphabetic characters become uppercase when the shift key or caps lock key is depressed. The numeric characters become symbols or punctuation marks when the shift key is depressed. The alphabetical, numeric, and punctuation keys can also have other functions when they are pressed at the same time as some modifier keys. The space bar is a horizontal bar in the lowermost row, which is significantly wider than other keys. Like the alphanumeric characters, it is also descended from the mechanical typewriter. Its main purpose is to enter the space between words during typing. It is large enough so that a thumb from either hand can use it easily. Depending on the operating system, when the space bar is used with a modifier key such as the control key, it may have functions such as resizing or closing the current window, half spacing, or backspacing. In computer games and other applications, the key has myriad uses in addition to its normal purpose in typing, such as jumping and adding marks to check boxes. In certain programs for playback of digital video, the space bar is used for pausing and resuming the playback. Modifier keys. Modifier keys are special keys that modify the normal action of another key, when the two are pressed in combination. For example, Alt and F4 in Microsoft Windows will close the program in an active window. In contrast, pressing just F4 will probably do nothing, unless assigned a specific function in a particular program. By themselves, modifier keys usually do nothing. The most widely used modifier keys include the Control key, Shift key and the Alt key. The Alt-GR key is used to access additional symbols for keys that have 3 symbols printed on them. On the Macintosh and Apple keyboards, the modifier keys are the Option key and Command key, respectively. On Sun Microsystems and Lisp machine keyboards, The Meta key is used as a modifier, and for Windows keyboards, there is a Windows key. Compact keyboard layouts often use a FN key. Dead keys allow placement of a diacritic mark, such as an accent, on the following letter, for example, the compose key. The enter/return key typically causes a command line, window form or dialog box to operate its default function, which is typically to finish an entry and begin the desired process. In word processing applications, pressing the enter key ends a paragraph and starts a new one. Cursor keys. Navigation keys or cursor keys include a variety of keys which move the cursor to different positions on the screen. Arrow keys are programmed to move the cursor in a specified direction. Page scroll keys, such as the page up and page down keys, scroll the page up and down. The home key is used to return the cursor to the beginning of the line where the cursor is located. The end key puts the cursor at the end of the line. The tab key advances the cursor to the next tab stop. The insert key is mainly used to switch between overtip mode, in which the cursor overwrites any text that is present on and after its current location, and insert mode, where the cursor inserts a character at its current position, forcing all characters past it one position further. The delete key discards the character ahead of the cursor's position, moving all following characters one position back towards the freed place. On many notebook computer keyboards, the key labeled delete, sometimes delete and backspace, are printed on the same key, serves the same purpose as a backspace key. The backspace key deletes the preceding character. Lock keys lock part of a keyboard, depending on the settings selected. The lock keys are scattered around the keyboard. Most styles of keyboards have 3 LEDs indicating which locks are enabled, in the upper right corner above the numeric pad. The lock keys include scroll lock, num lock, which allows the use of the numeric keypad, and caps lock. System commands. The System RQ and print screen commands often share the same key. System RQ was used in earlier computers as a panic button to recover from crashes, and it is still used in this sense to some extent by the Linux kernel. See Magic System RQ key. The print screen command used to capture the entire screen and send it to the printer, but in the present it usually puts a screenshot in the clipboard. Break key. The break key /pause key no longer has a well-defined purpose. Its origins go back to teleprinter users, who wanted a key that would temporarily interrupt the communications line. The break key can be used by software in several different ways, such as to switch between multiple login sessions, to terminate a program, or to interrupt a modem connection. In programming, especially old DOS-style BASIC, Pascal and C, break is used, in conjunction with control, to stop program execution. In addition to this, Linux and variants, as well as many DOS programs, treat this combination the same as control and C. On modern keyboards, the break key is usually labeled pause/break. In most Windows environments, the key combination Windows key and pause brings up the system properties. Escape key. Main article, escape key. The escape key, escape, has a variety of meanings according to operating system, application or both. Nearly all of the time, it signals stop, quit, or let me get out of a dialog or pop-up window. It triggers the stop function in many web browsers. The escape key was part of the standard keyboard of the Teletype Model 33, introduced in 1964 and used with many early mini-computers. The December VT50, introduced July 1974, also had an escape key. The Teco text editor, CA 1963, and its descendant Emacs, ca 1985, used the escape key extensively. Historically it also served as a type of shift key, such that one or more following characters were interpreted differently, hence the term escape sequence, which refers to a series of characters, usually